What's going on, everybody? This your man Lucky. I'm back with another one. Fellas, is this you? You're that guy in a relationship. It doesn't matter. Long term, short term, marriage, whatever it is. And you're constantly getting into arguments with your lady because you're simply trying to prevent problems or you're trying to solve problems. But for some reason, your attempt to try to prevent a problem or try to solve a problem always turns into an argument. If that's you, if this happens to you, this is the video that you need to watch. Pay close attention. I've done videos about arguing with women and how arguing is emotional and it makes you look weak. It also deteriorates your relationship because arguing, it creates resentment in relationships. Trust me, okay? It creates problems. What you look at as a little argument back and forth or whatever, a woman is going to hold on to that. So arguing is never good for a relationship. So you just don't want to do it. However, the man in us wants to solve problems. More importantly, at least for me, the man in me, I want to prevent problems. However, when you go about trying to prevent problems, because we can see things, we foresee what's going to happen. And it's like, yo, listen, don't do this or don't do that, or maybe do this or do that. However, it always ends up in a whole big thing, a whole big issue. And I'm giving you guys tips on how to avoid getting into arguments. And you're like, okay, I can avoid getting into the argument, but how, by me avoiding getting into the argument, am I preventing the problem? If that is your question, let me tell you, let me answer it for you right now. Avoiding the argument is not going to solve the problem. However, not getting into the argument is going to prevent a new problem on top of the original problem. You understand what I'm saying? It does not make sense to get into an argument trying to solve a problem, which the argument itself is going to create a new problem. Let me put it to you like this, guys. If you're in a relationship and you are expected to lead that relationship and you're coming up with solutions to fix a problem, or you're coming up with ways to prevent any future problems, and you're getting pushback from the woman that you're with, you must understand that she does not care about your leadership. She does not value your leadership. She does not respect your leadership. She probably doesn't have any faith in your ability to lead. Because I'm gonna tell you something. If the woman respects and accepts your leadership, when you come up with solutions to problems, when you come up with ways to prevent new problems, she's going to accept them. She's going to say, okay, well, listen, this is my man. If he says don't do this or do this or whatever the case may be, then okay, that's how I'm rolling. If you're getting pushback when you're doing your best to try to prevent or fix a problem from a woman, your woman, the lady that you're with, you're getting pushback from her. She's not accepting your leadership. She's pushing back your leadership. She's letting you know, yeah, I don't really trust you. That's what it is. So when you start to argue with her over a problem that you're trying to solve, you're trying to make her follow you. And that's not a situation that you want to be in. So to prevent getting into an argument by avoiding the argument will not fix the problem. But I'm telling you, you got bigger problems on your hand. Whatever problem you're trying to prevent, trust me, you got bigger problems on your hand if you're in a situation where you're trying to lead someone that doesn't want to follow. You cannot force someone to follow you. You, as the man in the relationship, have to have a certain amount of influence, not control, I don't know, they're kind of one and the same a little bit, but a lot of people don't like the word control. So I'm going to say influence. You have to have enough influence over the woman that you are in a relationship with to where she is going to follow your lead. Listen, women want to do what it is that they want to do, period. They're going to talk about, oh, a man is supposed to lead and blah, 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 and all of this. But as soon as a man steps up and starts making decisions that she doesn't like, however, his decision is a part of his ability to lead and his ability to foresee certain things that could possibly happen down the road, whether it's a minute later, an hour later, a day later, a week later, a month later, a year later, 10 years later, whatever it is. If he has the ability to see that and he's using his position as a leader in a relationship, you are using your position in a relationship as a leader to put down certain rules and regulations and terms and conditions and things like that to say, hey, no, this is not going to happen, or no, we're not going to do this, or hey, I need you to do this. And she's pushing back. And then a minute later, an hour later, a day later, a week later, the exact thing that you tried to prevent from happening happens because she didn't listen to you. Now she's going to turn and look at you like, okay, now what we're going to do? You could probably be in a whole situation now that could have been totally avoided. You understand what I'm saying? But simply because she didn't accept your leadership, however long down the line, now whatever it is that she did or whatever it is that happened that she didn't listen to you on, or she didn't follow your advice, she didn't respect or accept your leadership, now it has turned into a whole big problem. And now she's going to rely on your protection, because now she's going to expect you to protect her from whatever the issue is. She's going to expect you now to reverse whatever problem has arisen or arrived. Did I say it right? Arisen. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the problem is now that you tried to prevent however long ago. See, you tried to prevent it because, you really like to be problem free. You really don't want no issues. You don't like to live in chaos. You like to live in peace. Hey, you see something get ready to happen or something potentially is going to happen. We're not going that direction. We're going over here. But no, she wants to go over that way. And then you get into an argument about it. This is why a lot of guys just say, hey, you know what? Go on and do what you want to do. You cannot make somebody follow your lead, guys. So avoiding the argument only avoids a new problem. Avoiding the argument does not fix the problem. But if you have to argue your point to a woman and argue to get her to follow your lead, that's probably not the woman that you need to deal with, because every time there's a problem, you're going to have to argue the problem. And again, the more arguments you have, the more dysfunction is going to be in the relationship. Okay? So for all you guys that are like, okay, I understand, don't argue with a woman. Okay, I get it. I'm emotionally mature enough. I'm emotionally intelligent enough to, avoid the argument. However, the problem itself is still going to exist. Understand what I just said. If you cannot come to the table and say, listen, blah, 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 whatever it is, this is what it is, this is how we're going to move, or this is how you're going to move, moving forward, this, that, whatever, and she does not accept it, it's going to be problems for you down the road. Listen, you cannot protect what you can't control. Again, a lot of people don't like the word control, so I'll use the word influence. You cannot protect what you cannot influence. If you tell somebody, hey, don't do that because this is going to happen, and you do not have enough influence over that person for them to say, hey, you know what? I really don't know what's going to happen, but because he said this is a potential problem that could happen, let me not do it. Then what are you doing? You cannot lead somebody that's not going to follow your lead. For you to be an effective leader, you must have an effective follower. You get what I'm saying? You cannot force anything on anybody. You cannot make somebody do something. The best you can do is influence them and then sit back and let whatever's going to happen happen. But again, if you, number one, try to force your thoughts, your feelings, your leadership onto somebody, it's only going to backfire. Number two, you must understand that if you have to force it on them, it's not coming naturally. They don't care about your leadership. They don't care about whatever decisions that you're making. They don't care about that. So you have to be very careful, guys. Got to be very, very careful. If you're trying to solve problems, and every time you try to solve a problem, solve an issue, or prevent an issue, it turns into an argument. And listen, man, a lot of times women like to manipulate and use words like control. Oh, you just trying to control me. You're like, yo, are you kidding me? Or they'll try to manipulate you and say, oh, you're just insecure. If you're trying to prevent a problem, listen, nah, it's not appropriate for you to go do A, B, C, and X, Y, Z. You know what I mean? You just insecure. You don't, and all that kind of stuff, man. Don't fall for the manipulation, okay? You stand up as a leader and you effectively lead. And if who it is that you are trying to effectively and efficiently lead because you're in a leadership role, see, they'll accept you and your title, but they don't want to accept the work or the whatever discipline comes behind it, or you know what I'm saying, they just want to do what they want to do. They want to have a you, whatever your title is. They want to be able to say, oh yeah, I have me a him, whatever your title is. But then, when it's time for her to fall back because of what he said, now they don't want to listen to you, but they want to tell everybody, yeah, I have a him. I have a him, yeah. But then when it's time for her to listen to him, she don't want to listen. But then when she doesn't listen, and then it hits the fan, then she's gonna come running back to you like, "Hey, what's the solution to this?" And now you like, yo, hold up. Didn't I tell you? Or see, you don't listen. And you know what happens? A lot of y'all guys are in positions where all you do is try to lead. You try to prevent problems. They don't listen. They turn around, get into a jam, get into a bind, and here you come trying to save her. You're stressed out. You're losing it because you constantly are in a situation, and now you got to get you and her, y'all, the family, whatever it is, out of the situation that she got y'all into. It's a lot of guys that are no longer here to even talk about certain situations that she got him into. If she would have just listened, he would still be here. He's no longer here because she didn't listen. He had to pay the ultimate price. Listen, guys, not arguing or avoiding an argument is not weak. Okay, arguing is weak. The ability to walk away from an argument or the ability to not argue shows emotional intelligence. Arguing is probably the worst way of communication possible. The worst type of communication that there is to be arguing. Again, guys, it shows weakness. You do not argue. However, like I said, avoiding the argument is not going to solve the problem. If you cannot sit down with your lady and say, hey, listen, this is a problem, boom, 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 boom. Now, I'm not saying don't listen to what she has to say. Look, y'all can come to the table. She say her piece, you say your piece. And if y'all can't make a decision together and you say, okay, look, this is how we're going to move, and now it's a struggle and it's a back and forth thing, I'm telling you, man, you got to be careful because she will get you in something that you cannot get yourself out of. Okay, so it's not going to solve a problem. Avoiding the argument is not going to solve the problem when you're dealing with women. It's not going to solve the problem. A lot of times, guys, one other thing you got to understand is that most of the time women don't want their problem solved. They just want you to make them feel better about the problem that they have. A lot of times arguments start because simply she comes to you with a problem. Oh, this, that, and the third. You already got it all planned out. Okay, well, look, this is what you got to do. That. You know what I'm saying? Most women don't want to take personal accountability. So when you're telling a woman something that she has to do, she's looking at you like, oh, so you're saying it's my fault? Yeah, it's your fault. Stop doing what you're doing. This is your fault. This is your fault. So, guys, listen to me and listen to me very well. See, then you're the bad guy when you say, hey, this is your fault because blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? And then you hit her with the I told you so. And then you're the bad guy. Whenever you try to prevent a problem and you give a solution, she doesn't follow the solution. And then what you said what's going to happen happens, and you just, hey, remember when I told you this was going to happen and da da da. You're the bad guy. You're always the bad guy when you're right. So it doesn't even listen. If she don't want to follow your leadership, don't try to force her. Don't try to force her. You can't save her. She don't wanna be saved. It just is what it is. Look, man, I probably held y'all up long enough, but I just wanted to talk about that because I did see some comments in my comments section on the video that I did in regards to not arguing with women, and the question was asked, well, how is this problem solved? It's not problem solving. It's preventing a new problem. But if you got to argue to try to fix a problem, you're only creating another problem. And the fact that you argued your point probably didn't fix the original problem anyway. So on that note, I'm going to let y'all go. Y'all be good. I'll catch y'all on the next one.